Hi, I'm Sabrina, registered Comcast Neighborhoods. Today we are in scenic Snoqualmie, and really, could the view get any better than this? No big surprise that lots of people love recreating here, but there's lots to see and do in this historic town. Today we visit an incredible railway museum, which has a very unusual rail car. I'll give you a hint, think church, as well as a brand new museum dedicated to preserving the history of hydroelectric power at Snoqualmie Falls. It's all coming up on Neighborhoods.
For many, Snoqualmie is familiar territory. After all, close to 2 million people visit Snoqualmie Falls every year.
This is one of our greatest assets. It's what we're most famous for.
This visually spectacular natural resource was a driving force behind Snoqualmie's other well-known asset.
Just like today, Snoqualmie Falls is a big tourist attraction back then. And so in 1889, the first trains came out here to Snoqualmie Falls, and in 1890, the Snoqualmie Depot was built.
The beautifully restored Victorian Edwardian-looking depot is easy to spot and signals rail enthusiasts they've come to the right place to learn and experience train travel like it was a century ago. Climb aboard historic cars here, or take a tour of restored coaches in the museum's nearby train shed exhibit building.
The chapel car is one of the prize pieces in our collection. It's a little known piece of railway history where a number of the church organizations built, starting in about 1890, these chapel cars, and often the railroads would donate the time to pull these cars all over the U.S. And what they were basically were rolling churches.
Restoring these historic cars is no weekend project. Even with an army of museum volunteers, it can take anywhere from 4 to 8 years to refurbish some of these beauties. At the Northwest Railway Museum, you can do more than learn. Train rides are offered throughout spring, summer, and fall, and the holiday excursions are magical to many.
Folks can take the train from North Bend Depot. They come down here to the 1890 Snoqualmie Depot, where they get off and they can meet with Santa, they can have hot chocolate, they can have nice cookies baked from our kitchen car, and they get to just enjoy the ambiance of being in a small town setting in a Victorian depot and getting to see Santa all at the same time. We hear from families who this is the 4th or 5th generation that they come and they bring all the kids in the family up for it. So it is a very popular event here in Snoqualmie.
Gather family or friends and bring them here for a ride you won't soon forget. Across the street from the museum, you'll find delightful shops and restaurants to browse or dine in. The Black Dog Arts Cafe satisfies the stomach and the soul.
We create everything from scratch. We try to involve all the employees in baking, cooking, all the aspects of the food service industry. And we also try to provide a place for people to gather and share the arts and create mentor-disciple relationships between young people and older people.
Conversations might strike up over art. Different local artists are featured on the walls each month. Written words, the cafe publishes poets. Or theater, when the small stage is turned into a backstreet alley or farmland to set the scene for a local production. And then there's music.
Wednesdays are very magical, and I tell people who come here, no open mic is going to be the same. Every open mic is its own little subculture. They're all completely different, and you never know who's coming or where they're coming from. And I really love that. So young people will have 14, 15-year-olds come in here with their guitar playing for the first time, and they're going up on stage after a 75-year-old guy who's played his entire life. And then afterwards they create this relationship where they have conversations. And that's really what I love about it.
Other nights, local or touring bands take the stage. Day or night, there's always something happening at the Black Dog Arts Cafe. With exceptional recreational opportunities like hiking in the alpine wilderness and golfing at a course favored by PGA players, it's no real surprise that people love to call this area home. While Snoqualmie's population has swelled from 1,600 to 13,000, Mayor Matt Larson says a lot of thought has gone into the planned community of Snoqualmie Ridge, where 85% of the population lives.
One thing that's really been lost in urban planning across the United States is this sense of sameness. Every town you go to, you get off the exit, you got McDonald's, Wendy's, and Walmart. And we've been because of this spectacular natural environment we've been in, we've been very thoughtful about trying to preserve this sense of uniqueness and real place. And people are going to find that, and I think that's what they really find beautiful and attractive when they come here.
It's hard to come to Snoqualmie and not visit the falls, even if you've come before. It's a view that never grows old. The relatively new Snoqualmie Falls Hydroelectric Museum gives you a glimpse into the past.
It's a pretty neat project. It really is. It was the world's first underground powerhouse.
The powerhouse, envisioned by a man named Charles Baker, who believed he could harness the energy of the falls to produce power. The museum educates the visitor about the different schools of thought on power during the late 1800s.
We tell the story of what the tug-of-war that went on between those two technologies, different ways of producing and transmitting electric power over distance. AC could only go about a mile. Edison's vision was there'd be a lot of power plants around the neighborhood. Tesla said no and left Edison, and he said we're going to do AC, and hooked up with George Westinghouse.
There's a lot to pore over in the museum, including historic photos, detailed drawings, and the original panels that controlled each of the 5 generators. Kids will enjoy flipping the switch.
And I see here the exhibit, The History of Electricity, War of the Currents, and I see a switch here. What happens if I move the switch?
Flip it.
Flip it?
Move it up. There we go.
Oh, wow.
What originally was hundreds of feet below ground is now housed in Puget Sound Energy's historic carpenter shop and train depot turned museum, just waiting to be explored. While visitors come for the view, the area surrounding the falls is ripe for recreating.
It's about a 20-acre park. We have 2 parts to it, an upper park and a lower park connected by a trail system. We get about almost 2 million visitors every year.
Puget Sound Energy manages the park as part of its hydroelectric project with a goal of providing good stewardship.
When we did a rebuild of the project, one thing we tried to do was protect all the large trees, all the habitat, the potential habitat for bald eagles. The wetland areas, we actually did some expansion of wetland and enhancement of wetland areas. And then disturbed areas, we've been revegetating them with native vegetation.
Even when water levels are low and temperatures toasty, visitors find ways to enjoy themselves at Snoqualmie Falls Park. Set just off from the falls is the distinctly northwest SALISH Lodge, which opened as an 8-room inn in 1916. They've expanded just a little, with 84 well-appointed rooms and suites, all with fireplaces and jetted tubs, a full-service spa, and 2 restaurants.
The dining room is probably what we're most famous for. We serve brunch and dinner in the dining room. We've been serving breakfast since early 1900s. It's been a famous place to have breakfast. People still come for that. People still remember it. People bring their grandmothers or grandparents, and they recollect about the times they've been here before.
Located upstairs in the lodge, the attic is a cool, vibrant spot to grab a drink or nibble on pizza from the wood-burning oven. Some guests come for a relaxing weekend getaway. Others come to say, I do.
We have weddings of all sizes, from weddings of a few people, elopements that people do in their rooms, their suites, all the way up to 160 people, 180 people more for a wedding here.
No matter the size of the party or the reason you're here, the view is always memorable. Since the mid-1800s, white settlers have come to this area discovering beauty and opportunity. Some might say not much has changed.
It's our little utopia.
For Neighborhoods, I'm Sabrina Register.